Have you ever wondered if a single idea could change history? Have you ever thought about a person born into an era of injustice, despised by society, yet still daring to rise and leave their mark on the world? Today we tell the story of such an extraordinary man, Thomas L. Jennings. His name may not be widely known, but he was the first African American to receive a U.S. patent. A man who was more than just an inventor. He was a symbol of perseverance, intellect, and courage. Imagine this: America in the early 19th century, a time when slavery still existed, when black people were treated as mere labor tools, denied ownership, denied freedom, and certainly never recognized for their scientific or inventive contributions. At that time, the idea of a black man holding a patent was almost unimaginable, because quite simply, the law was not on their side. Yet, despite the barriers, Thomas L. Jennings shattered expectations. He not only created an invention that would later improve the lives of millions, but also opened the door of hope for an entire generation of black inventors. How did he achieve this? And why was his invention so significant? Join me as we uncover the challenging yet remarkable journey of Thomas L. Jennings, the first black inventor recognized by America. Thomas L. Jennings, a trailblazer in innovation and equality. Thomas L. Jennings was born in 1791 in New York City, a place where, although slavery was not as widespread as in the American South, racial discrimination still permeated every corner of society. At the time, black people had almost no rights, no voting rights, no access to proper education, and most significantly, they were not allowed to hold patents. The law dictated that enslaved individuals could not own property, including intellectual property. But Jennings was more fortunate than many others. He was not born into slavery, but instead belonged to the class of free black people in the North. However, freedom did not mean an easy life. From a young age, he had to take on various jobs to make a living. He started as a tailor and gradually built a reputation for his exceptional skill in designing and tailoring clothes. It was this very profession that led him to discover a major problem. Many high-quality, expensive fabrics were easily damaged when cleaned using conventional methods. His clients constantly complained that they couldn't clean their garments without ruining them. This frustration became the catalyst for a revolutionary invention. Jennings was not just a tailor. He was a creative thinker with a scientific mindset. He began asking himself, is there a way to clean clothes without damaging the fabric? This question drove him to experiment, research, and ultimately develop a groundbreaking technique called dry scouring, the precursor to modern dry cleaning. However, inventing something new was not the hardest challenge. The real battle was figuring out how to protect his invention in a society where black people were systematically stripped of their rights. A breakthrough invention, the dry scouring method. After years of research and experimentation, Thomas L. Jennings finally developed a revolutionary cleaning method that allowed clothes to be cleaned without damaging the fabric. He called it dry scouring, a pioneering technique that laid the foundation for the modern dry cleaning industry. What made this method so special? Instead of using water and soap like traditional laundering, Jennings discovered that certain chemical solvents could remove stains from clothing without harming the fabric. This was a true breakthrough because, at the time, luxurious garments, especially delicate fabrics like silk and fine wool, were often ruined when washed with water. Thanks to Jennings' invention, expensive clothing could now be cleaned safely and effectively. But this groundbreaking discovery might have been lost to history if it weren't for one crucial decision. Thomas L. Jennings chose to apply for a patent. In 1821, he was officially granted U.S. patent number X3306 for his dry scouring method, making him the first African American in U.S. history to receive a patent. Imagine this: a black man in the 19th century, during a time when racial discrimination was deeply ingrained in society, achieving official recognition from the U.S. government for a scientific invention. This was not just a personal milestone for Jennings. It was a monumental victory for the entire black community in America. But how did he manage to secure a patent when U.S. law at the time prohibited enslaved people from owning patents? The answer lies in Jennings' unique status. He was a free black man. This distinction gave him the legal right to apply for and obtain a patent, officially recognizing him as a true inventor. However, for Thomas L. Jennings, this invention was about much more than personal success or financial gain. He had a greater mission, one that would extend far beyond himself. Using his wealth to fight for justice. With a patent in hand, Thomas L. Jennings quickly transformed his invention into a thriving business. His dry scouring method was widely adopted, earning him a substantial fortune for that era. But what made Jennings truly remarkable was not just what he invented, but how he used his success. Unlike many who might have simply enjoyed their newfound wealth, Jennings chose to dedicate much of his earnings to the fight for black liberation. He became a passionate social activist, tirelessly advocating for the rights of enslaved and oppressed individuals. Jennings financially supported numerous abolitionist movements and efforts to secure equality for African Americans. He actively participated in and funded the abolitionist movement, one of the most significant social justice campaigns in American history. But he didn't stop at financial contributions. He became a leader within the community, organizing awareness campaigns, supporting education initiatives, and helping enslaved individuals seek freedom. One of his most notable contributions was his involvement with the New York African American Society, where he fought for equal rights, education, and economic opportunities for Black Americans. He also helped establish organizations that assisted runaway slaves in finding safety and building better lives. A family legacy. Jennings' fight for justice did not end with him. His family carried on his legacy. His daughter, Elizabeth Jennings Graham, would later become a key figure in the civil rights movement. She famously sued a transportation company for racial discrimination and won. Her victory helped pave the way for the eventual desegregation of New York's public transit system. Thomas L. Jennings was not just an inventor. He was a fearless warrior for freedom and justice. He did not keep his success to himself. He used it as a weapon to lift an entire community out of oppression. His legacy remains indelible, one of innovation, resilience, and courage. But this raises an important question. If Thomas L. Jennings had not been a free man, would he have been able to secure his patent? This question leads us to a larger issue, one we will explore in the next section. The legacy of Thomas L. Jennings' history. Though Thomas L. Jennings has long passed, his impact remains timeless. He was not just a brilliant inventor, but a symbol of justice, perseverance, and equality. From a simple invention to a billion-dollar industry. When Jennings invented the dry scouring method, he likely never imagined that it would lay the foundation for the modern dry cleaning industry. Today, dry cleaning has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar business, helping people preserve their clothing with efficiency and care. Yet, few people know that the origins of this industry trace back to a courageous Black inventor, a man who broke barriers to etch his name into history. Overcoming discrimination, fighting for justice. While Jennings became the first Black man in the U.S. to receive a patent, many others of his time were not as fortunate. At that time, U.S. laws dictated that enslaved individuals could not own property, including patents. This meant that if an enslaved person invented something, the slave owner reaped all the benefits. As a result, many groundbreaking inventions by Black individuals were stolen and never properly credited. However, Jennings, a free Black man, changed this reality. His success became a beacon of hope, inspiring future Black inventors to stand up and fight for their rights. Some of the remarkable figures who followed in his footsteps include Granville T. Woods, the Black Edison, who held over 50 patents in electrical and railway engineering. Madam C.J. Walker, the first Black female millionaire, thanks to her revolutionary hair care products. Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the three-color traffic light and the modern gas mask. Not only paved the way for future Black inventors, but also challenged societal perceptions of Black intellectual property rights. Powerful lessons from Thomas L. Jennings. His story serves as a powerful testament to human resilience and intelligence. From Jennings' life, we can draw profound lessons. Circumstances do not define your destiny. Born into a world of injustice, Jennings still found a way to rise above and create lasting value for his community. Innovation can change the world. Even the simplest invention has the potential to transform lives. True success is measured by the impact you leave behind. Instead of hoarding his wealth, Jennings used it as a tool to fight for justice and uplift others. Thomas L. Jennings, an enduring icon. Though he is no longer with us, history has not forgotten his name. Today, his story is taught in many educational programs on African American history, and he is recognized as one of the most significant inventors in U.S. history. More than 200 years have passed, yet his legacy remains, not only in the dry cleaning industry, but also in the ongoing fight for justice and equality for all. Thomas L. Jennings, inventor, activist, history maker. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories of historical figures who changed the world. What do you think about Thomas L. Jennings' impact? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Would you like it in a specific tone? Enthusiastic, serious, or storytelling?